Welcome back. Well, Jewish students across the country are reportedly feeling uneasy about returning to university this year and fear confrontations with well-organised pro-Palestinian student groups. A report into anti-Semitism at Australian universities has revealed more than half of Jewish students have hidden their identity, and 1 in 5 have avoided campus altogether to evade anti-Semitism. The Australasian Union of Jewish Students Club at the University of Sydney confirmed that 3 students tore down an Israeli flag from their Orientation Week stall yesterday, the first reported anti-Semitic attack of the university year. Joining me now is Joel Burney of the Israel and Jewish Affairs Council. Joel, thank you so much for joining us. This is serious. What actions are these universities taking to protect Jewish students?
Well, thank you very much for having me on, Danica. And look, the question should be, what was the university doing before these incidents occurred? That survey with those figures that you showed in the package to begin this interview, those figures came from before October 7th. These were students that were hiding their Jewish identity before the events of October 7th. And we have seen after the horrific events of October 7th a sustained and vicious and violent attack from pro-Palestinian groups on multiple Jewish institutions, installations, and Jewish groups. And universities are unfortunately not immune to these. And this event at the University of Sydney happened during the Orientation Week. The university year hasn't even started yet, and we already have these type of violent acts and intimidation tactics towards Jewish students, and it's just disgusting. So as to what the university should do, the university should have prepared for this. It appears as though that they haven't. And they need to come down swiftly and investigate who did this, make sure that they're held accountable, and make sure that all universities and all students are aware of what type of behaviour is allowed on those campuses.
Absolutely. It's just so unfortunate that they feel so scared now to come to university. I mean, this is a place of learning, right? This is a place where you should actually feel safe in your environment. Joel, what can the federal government do here? They say they're tough on anti-Semitism, but this really is a disgrace. How can it go on?
Well, I think there's multiple fronts as to what the federal government can do, and they're doing some things to their credit. So firstly, I think it's leadership. So as soon as these things happen, you have to exhibit that leadership and illustrate it very, very quickly and swiftly, and condemn in the strongest of terms these type of actions. So the Jewish community has seen that in many aspects from the response from the federal government, but it comes down to something that's even more important. And that's the laws that we have to protect minorities such as Jews in this country. If this type of behaviour is allowed to continue unpunished and without the utility of the current legislation that's in place at a state and federal level, then we need to have a deep look into those legislation that exists to see what we can do to beef them up. I can tell you firsthand that this community, the Jewish community of Australia, has gone through horrific events and intimidation tactics since October 7, where 1,200 of our family and friends were so viciously murdered and massacred and raped in the 48 hours from October 7 onwards. So the idea of having to grapple with that trauma whilst also being fearful and having to hide our own identity in Australia, it's not just a problem for us as Jews in Australia, it's a problem for us as Australians.
Look, it really is. We're running out of time, but just very quickly, Israel has vowed to press ahead with its operation in Rafah, where more than 1 million people are taking refuge. Australia has warned Israel not to go down this path. What option does Israel have here?
The option is very, very clear. Israel understands the acute humanitarian issue that is in Rafah, and it makes 2 decisions. Firstly, it will draw up detailed plans as to how to move the majority of the civilians out of Rafah into safe zones. And those safe zones will be north of Rafah and south of Khan Yunis. So before they go into Rafah, they will make sure that detailed plans are implemented and as many civilians can get out of that area before the siege starts. And to the final point, Israel needs to go into Rafah to make sure that the final stronghold of Hamas is taken out. If it is precluded from doing so, then Hamas will remain in power in Gaza, and that is a situation that Israel cannot have, and a situation that the Palestinians do not deserve either.
No, absolutely not. You're spot on. Joel Burney, really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.